Hello and welcome to The Hop, a podcast designed to help business owners and marketers navigate the ever-changing landscape of digital marketing and marketing in general. I'm your host, Matt Taylor Farrington, and the owner of Purple Bunny Marketing. And today I'm joined by Sam from our team.
Hello again.
And today we're going to talk about shoppers and how we can identify them and I guess what's motivating them on social media and to buy. So let's get started or hop to it. The first question that we have is, so how do different types of exposure to brand content constantly on social media actually affect buying behaviour? What are you finding?
Well, according to a recent report by Hootsuite,
Yes.
where they sampled about 6,000 people between, the United States, Canada, and Australia,
Yes.
they found that 70% of buyers who will purchase from your social media will follow you first and look
Yes.
at your content. And what that means is that obviously there is some correlation there between the content that you're posting and the people that are seeing it and the people
Yes.
that are actually going on to purchase it.
Correct.
So...
Yeah, and what I am taking from that is that people are potentially wanting to see how that brand engages, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to know, if I do have a problem, are they going to respond? How are they going to interact? Are people reporting problems? All that sort of stuff. But not only that, they're also probably looking at that brand's values and how things are coming across from it.
Yeah.
Their engagement. Are people liking their stuff? Are people actually, liking the content that they're seeing, commenting and engaging, and is the brand engaging, I guess. So
Yeah. You need to match the vibe,
correct.
The vibe. So
Yes, 100%.
it's all about the vibes.
Yeah. All right. So moving on from that, so I guess based from that, we're saying that that's why we kind of suggest that it's important that people are active on social media and business are active there because, well, as we've now identified from that report, 70% of people are actually looking to that brand's social media and following it in the lead up to purchasing or making a purchase. So
Yeah, and we find a larger portion of those people tend to be from Generation Z or Zoomers.
yes,
More so than Boomers.
Yes.
Will follow before they purchase.
yes,
It's same report.
yeah.
Basically.
I feel like boomers would potentially buy and then follow, and I feel like
I get that vibe.
yeah, and I feel like then they would just follow you
Yeah.
for the rest. Whereas I feel like your Gen Z and stuff, they're kind of like testing the waters. They're going to check you out first, see if you're right, and then you've got to kind of keep them hooked to want to continue to follow you. Otherwise, they might potentially buy your product and then maybe dip off that follower. Would you agree with that assessment?
I'm a Zoomer myself, actually, and I do definitely find myself researching brands before I buy them, trying to make more informed decisions.
Yeah.
So for me personally, the values of a brand don't tend to affect my purchasing habits that much, but we do know from the Hootsuite report that strong political alignments can affect Zoomers, especially because they're much more politically charged.
Yes.
Buying habits as well. So if you're, a brand aligning on a relatively controversial issue, that can alienate a part of your audience. And if you're targeting younger people, then you've got more to lose there, I would say, for sure.
Agreed.
For sure.
And I think that's something we're planning on talking about in a later episode with Nick as well, about types of content that you should possibly look at avoiding putting up.
Yeah.
And there has been some changes in that space to things that have previously been suggested. So, like we say at the start of this podcast, the landscape is ever changing, and even for us, we're learning quite actively by what we see by engagement from our content that we put up and the content we put up for our clients. So, all right. So, I guess the next one is, what gets an actual active shopper to engage or buy from my social media content? So what are you seeing as that hook or that what's motivating them? And what did the report kind of say?
So, referencing the report and my own sort of behaviours and what we found as a marketing company ourselves, I think that most people are looking for more relatable, funny, interesting content or things that they can learn something from. I know the same report said, I believe, over 60% of people felt like they wanted to either be entertained with humor or to learn something from the brands that they're following and that they're purchasing, clothing or what have you from.
Yes.
So I think that trying to get on the camera as well, or getting influencers, like I think we discussed in a previous episode.
Yes.
To get on, being funny, maybe pushing the boundaries a little bit, but not in a controversial way, but in a way that's like, oh, can they say that on social media?
Yep.
But not anything that's politically charged.
Yes.
I
think immediately the one that comes to mind for me, I follow this guy now because I think he's hilarious, but he's the one that goes, he like the start of the clip will show something being used, not in a way that you'd think would be obvious, like a hammer. He had it like reversed and the nail was wedged in the bit at the back and you hit it into the wall to start. And then he goes, what? No way. And then it kind of goes into him trying it and doing it. And he's promoting that product.
Right.
But he's used it to kind of show a demo of a use that, like, I didn't know that, I mean, probably pretty basic of me, but I didn't know with a hammer that if you turn the hammer around and at the back of the hammer where your prongs are at the back, you can wedge the nail in there and then just hit it in to start the nail and then hit it down. That's actually what its intended purpose was, right? See, you just went high. You didn't even know that.
I didn't know that, not a builder.
He's done that in a funny way that's got me hooked. And now, I mean, it's the same for any hammer, right? But he's using it as a way to promote that product. It just shows the product in a different way. It got me engaged. And I mean, based on his following count, it got people engaged for him. So, and that's, I guess, leaning back to the influencer podcast as well, where we talked. Yeah. And the biggest thing I took from that Carly was talking about in there was, let the influencer be the influencer. Don't try and micromanage the process with them. They know their audience. That's how they got their audience, by doing what they do. So don't then try and get them to do something and pigeonhole them into something that's not them. Because then it's not organic.
Their audience will know.
Yeah.
They'll know.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. Actually, there's an American brand, fast food chain called Arby's.
Yes.
And I only know about them because of their organic social posts.
Yep.
Right. So big into video games, like a lot of young Zoomers. They pose their chips and their burgers and whatnot in a way that resembles like famous video games, whether it's like Dragon Quest or Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And I guess there's an example of me, being aware of a brand that doesn't even service my country.
Yes.
But I'm still kind of like engaged with their content because I think it's cool,
Yeah, so. 100%. Yes, definitely. All right. I think we covered off what gets an active shopper engaging with your content, basically. All right. So does what a brand actually posts on social media impact a shopper's decision to buy? So, do they see the content and then suddenly go, oh, yeah, I need to buy that, I need that, I want that? Or do you feel it's more of a slow burn, they need to be exposed over time?
I think if you're speaking in terms of not having any really offers or anything, it is a slow burn.
Yep.
But I think if you've got people who are fairly engaged and you do have some sort of flash sales, then it can sort of speed up that process. Doing it too often, though, does risk burning people out on offers, though, because you don't want to be known as someone who's always got offers running because, well, people are just going to wait for the offers, right?
Well, that or they're going to go, oh, well, I don't need to buy it right now, really, because let's be real, next month they're going to have another offer. Yeah. Correct. And I think that is important. I think business needs to learn to sell their value. Yeah. Sell and present more. We talk about it, the FAB saying, features, advantages, benefits. What are my features? What are my advantages? And what are the benefits of my product or my service? And I think sometimes when we're quick or desperate to get a result, we just flick to an offer rather than what are the benefits of my business? What are the advantages and what are the features that people get from that? And don't leverage that quite as much. Agreed. I don't know. Like for me with content, I feel like I need to kind of see things a couple of times to then go, oh yeah, and kind of it prompts me to buy. Yeah. But I guess that's the point of social media content is you've got to be continually active and showcase what you're doing. Yeah. So. But
you can't be too repetitive.
No, and that was another thing. I think that they from memory of reading that report as well.
It was, yeah.
That one of the things was people get switched off by repetitive content in the sense of seeing the same thing just over and over and over. So you do need to make sure that what you are doing is fresh. You need to look at it constantly and be changing it up, and not just posting the same post over or resharing everything 5 times and, you know, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that just people are getting over that now, definitely. So
I know I am.
Yes, agreed. All right, perfect. Well, I think that's it for us. That's a wrap from this episode about what's, I guess, motivating shoppers on social media.
Yep.
So thanks to Sam for coming in. Appreciate your time. So stay tuned to The Hop, helping you to navigate your marketing.